What is going on, everybody? I'm back with another Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile. Today we're going to be going over my Buggy Balls deck, my Gokipole Giant Ballpark deck. This is a really fun one because if there's one thing I like in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's playing with normal monsters, just trying to make them as good as possible. I'm a real big fan of the Phantasm Spiral deck, and this one is just really fun because I remember Gokibor from the anime when Weevil gave him to some random kid during Battle City. Um, but yeah, it's just a really, really fun deck, and I think you guys are really going to like it. So we'll go ahead and start with the deck profile. First off, we got 3 copies of Shiny Black Sea Squatter. This is just one of your high attack insect normal monsters. You could use Insect Knight for any of these. Next up is Gokibor, Gokiball, whatever you want to call them. Again, you can replace this with any insect normal monster you want. You could even use basic insect if you want to be cool. I'm just using Gokibor because, you know, it's thematic with the rest of the deck. You know, he shows up in a lot of these different cards. Next up, we got 3 copies of, and this one is a mouthful, Super Armored Robot Armed Black Iron Sea. Yeah, it's a mouthful, but this is, I guess, your boss monster, if you want to call it that. Pretty easy to get out with this deck. The effect reads, if you have 3 insect monsters with the same name in your graveyard, you can target any number of them, special summon this card from your hand, then equip them to this card. You can send 1 monster equipped to this card by this card's effect to the graveyard. Destroy all monsters your opponent controls with attack greater than or equal to the attack of the monster you sent to the graveyard. That's kind of why I put in Gokibor, because he has 1200 attack, and your opponent probably has a lot of monsters with more than 1200 attack. And again, if you use something like Basic Insect, you're going to be blowing up pretty much everything on their field. And that's what makes this deck so fun. It's so fun to just get this card out, equip it with 3 Gokibors, and then you just nuke their whole field. Next, we got 2 copies of Contact C. Funnily enough, this can actually be searched with this deck pretty well, and it's also a pretty good floodgate. When your opponent normal or specials a monster, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's side of the field in defense position. This card's controller cannot fusion, synchro, Xyz, or link summon unless they use this card as a material. Now, when you're going up against an Xyz deck, I mean, this card is level 6. I'm pretty sure there's like 2 Xyz monsters that are level 6, right? And most of the time you won't be seeing a level 6 Xyz monster. Level 6 is kind of awkward for Synchro Summon unless you're playing against Virtual Worlds. And Link Summoning, obviously, they can just use it whenever. Depending on the Link monster, I guess. But either way, it's a pretty good floodgate. Next up, we got 2 copies of Aztekipede. Cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned by banishing an insect monster. We do have a very good banish target in Resonance Insect. So once you get Resonance Insect in the graveyard, banish it with Aztekipede, get the search off of Resonance Insect, and you have a pretty good combo and another body on the board. Pretty much a free special summon. Next up, we got 3 copies of Danger Mothman. If you discard it with Gokipole or Twin Twister, you get a free draw. Also, it's an 1800 attack beat stick if you want it to be an 1800 attack beat stick, but mostly you're going to be using it for its draw power. 3 copies of Resonance Insect. Again, this is your search card. This is your banish target. All around a pretty good consistency booster for the deck. Then we got 3 copies of Rescue Rabbit. This is for getting out your normal monsters. You can get 2 normal monsters out with Rescue Rabbit. I love this card so much, man. It's incredible. 3 copies of Gokipole, the main guy in this deck. This is what this whole deck is based around. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a level 4 insect monster from your deck to your hand. Then, if it was a normal monster, you can special summon it. Then, you can destroy 1 monster on the field with attack greater than or equal to the special summoned monster. Again, you're going to want to be searching Gokibor just to blow up something on the field. You can use any insect normal monster. I just like using Gokibor because, you know, it's his deck, man. You got to put him in there. 3 copies of Unexpected Die. Again, to get more bodies on the field. so you can link summon, Xyz summon, what have you. 1 copy of Terraforming to add your Giant Ballpark, because Giant Ballpark is very important to this deck. It's what gives it its really fun element. 1 copy of Gold Sarcophagus. This way you can banish Resonance Insect and get his mill effect. Send it from the deck to the graveyard. 1 copy of Foolish Burial. You're going to want to send Gokipole to the graveyard, or you can mill one of your normal monsters in if you have a Super Armored Robot in your hand. 2 normal monsters in the graveyard. You can Foolish 1 more, and then you can get the special summon off. 2 copies of Called by the Grave, again, just for protection against hand traps. 2 copies of Twin Twisters, actually 3 copies of Twin Twisters, my bad. That way you can discard your Mothman, you can discard your normal monsters, you can discard your Gokipole, really good for the deck, and you get to pop 2 spells on the field. Now, finally, you've got the 3 copies of Giant Ballpark. This card is insane. I love this card so much. During damage calculation, if a player would take battle damage, you can make neither player take any battle damage from that battle. And if you do, send 1 level 4 or lower insect monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then, if you sent a normal monster this way, you can special summon any number of monsters with the same name. Any number. That is insane. And it even plays into the combo that you're going to want to go to, that I will show at the end of this video. Let's see, where were we at? Yeah, you can special summon any number of them from your hand, deck, and or graveyard. It doesn't even matter where it is. Like, the only way you can't special summon it is if it's banished. If a monster you control is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, except during the damage step, you can special summon 1 insect normal monster from your graveyard. So, really, really awesome card. You can even see basic insect is in the card, right? So is Gokiball. And now, finally, we just have the 1 copy of Metaverse. This is the only trap you play, because, again, it's so important that you get Giant Ballpark on the field. It is just incredible. So now let's move on to the extra deck. So we got 1 copy of Zeus, 1 copy of Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, 1 copy of Baguska. This is just for stalling if you don't have anything in your hand. 1 copy of Castel, 1 copy of Diamond Dire Wolf, 1 copy of Exciton Knight, 1 copy of Abyss Dweller, and that's the Xyz monsters. Now, you'll probably notice a theme in a bunch of these, with the Zeus, the Xyz Dragon, Castel, Diamond Dire Wolf. Not really Diamond Dire Wolf, but mostly Castel, Dark Rebellion, and Zeus, is that you get to detach 2 materials from the card. So if you go into Castel or Xyz Dragon with 2 of your normal monsters, you're able to get 2 of them into the graveyard. And you're going to want to get as many of your normal monsters in the graveyard as possible so you can proc the effect of Super Armored Robot to special summon him. Now let's move on to the Link monsters. First off is Seraphim Papillion. I don't really know how to pronounce it, but it's really good. This is what you're going to be ending your combo off of most of the time. 1 copy of Mrs. Radiant. 1 copy of Shinobi Insect Hagakure Mino. This is a pretty funny card, because 9 times out of 10, your opponent won't actually read what it does, and it'll just prevent them from attacking him. And it's pretty funny. We got 1 copy of Underclock Taker, 1 copy of Inzektor Picofalena. This is your main combo tool. You're going to be going into this card a lot, so pretty much you can equip an insect monster with Resonance Insect, Link Summon using the monster that's equipped to Resonance Insect, and then his effect will go off, letting you add your Super Armored Robot to your hand. Pretty good. This card is insane in this deck. Then we got 2 copies of Link Spider, just so you can summon another normal monster just in case, right? Then we have 1 copy of Salamangreat Almirage. That's the deck list. We're going to get into some duels to show you kind of the combos and all of the different things that you can go into. I hope you guys enjoyed. This one is a personal favorite of mine. I love it. I hope you guys enjoy. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go through a duel against an AI, and I'm pretty much just going to show you all the different combos that you can do. I did mess up at one point here, and I will show you. So we'll go ahead and get into it. So I open with a pretty mediocre hand. I go ahead and use Contact C against them to prevent them from Synchro Summoning, because they'll probably bring out their Synchro Monster. They go through their whole Blue Eyes thing, pretty much just drawing through their whole deck like a Blue Eyes player does. And normally right here they could Synchro Summon, but because I used Contact C, they can't. Now they do set up a pretty menacing board here, but nothing too scary. The only protection they have is Return of the Dragon Lords anyway, so I open up with Goki Pole, Twin Twisters, Shiny Black Sea Squatter, Rescue Rabbit, and Danger Mothman. So I just take the gamble on the Mothman. Hope he doesn't hit it. Okay, I hit the Twin Twisters, and I get to special summon the Mothman. I draw a card, and I ended up getting Terraforming, which was actually really clutch. So I went ahead and played Giant Ballpark. Then I normal summoned Rescue Rabbit to get 2 of my Pokebores. And then I enter the battle phase, and I swing into his 0 attack monster. But then I pop Giant Ballpark, which allows me to special summon another Gokibore from the deck. So I enter main phase 2, I link summon Picofalena using 2 Gokibores. I activate Picofalena and attach Resonant Insect to my other Gokibore. Activate Goki Pole, just special summon Shiny Black Sea Squatter, and because it's a normal monster, I get to pop a card on the field. Now you link summon Seraphim Papillion, and then that will trigger Resonance Insect. You add your Super Armored Robot to your hand, it gains some attack, and now you special summon Super Armored Robot, targeting all 3 of your Gokibores in the graveyard, and attaching all 3, detaching 1 to blow up all of his monsters, but of course he had Return of the Dragon Lords, so only 1 of them got popped, and it was my own Contact C. So I went ahead and XC summoned using the other 2 level 4s, getting Castell, detaching 2, and shuffling 1 of his Blue Eyes back into the deck. So, I mean, despite what all they had, we did get a lot of their cards off the field, but as you can see, they have another special summon of the Alternative Dragon next turn, so we'll see what they do. They go with Pot of D, banishing 10, drawing 2. They get the Alternative Dragon, and there's nothing I can do here except just special summon my Goki Pole from the graveyard. Giant Ballpark activates. I get to special summon my lost Gokibore. He goes into Titanic, and he swings into my Super Armored Robot. But Giant Ballpark activates, I don't take any damage, and I get to special summon 2 Shiny Black Sea Squatters. So next turn, I have to be kind of careful here. This is where I kind of messed up, but it ended up winning me the game in the long run. So I XC summoned the Dark Rebellion, and then I link summoned into the Mrs. Radiant to send Goki Pole to the graveyard. Then I add Resonance Insect, and I have not normal summoned yet, so I normal summon Resonance Insect, and link summon Shinobi Insect using Resonance Insect, proccing its effect. And keep in mind, all 3 of my Gokibores are in the graveyard again. So I get to special summon Super Armed Robot, targeting 3 of them. Attach all 3. Have the attack of Titanic and add it to Xyz Dragon. Then I blow up his Titanic. Then I get to special summon another Shiny Black Sea Squatter, and he's open for game. I hope you guys liked it. I know it was just against an AI, but I just wanted to show you some of the Giant Ballpark combos that you can do. Again, this deck is insanely fun. As you can see, lots of normal monsters, lots of iconic cards. Giant Ballpark is so much fun to play, and I really hope you guys want to pick it up and start playing it. It is a very casual deck, right? It's obviously not going to win you any games against meta. Right, I did try this out against Sky Strikers and did win a couple times. Same thing, I tried it out against Salamangreat and won a couple times. But as far as consistency goes, if you don't open with Giant Ballpark, it's not the end of the world. However, it is going to be the card that really elevates your combos. But again, it's not necessarily a necessity, but you're gonna want Giant Ballpark. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next deck list.